Cam Newton speaks. Yeah. Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton admitted he's a sore loser in defending how he handled himself with the media after Sunday's loss to Denver in Super Bowl 50. This is just coming down. What time did this come out? This came out today, about an hour ago, 2:20 p.m. The newly crowned league MVP walked out on reporters after answering only a handful of questions after the game. You know about that, following the 24-10 loss. He did so while wearing the hood of a black hoodie pulled over his head. And first of all, you know that white people scared of black hoodies already. That was another part of the whole thing. Yeah, black man in a hoodie. Oh my gosh, something's wrong with that. Cam had this to say, quote, "I've been on record to say I'm a sore loser," Newton said on Tuesday as players cleaned out their lockers. Who likes to lose? And I just talked about that. Who likes to lose? You show me a good loser, and I'm going to show you a loser. It's not a popularity contest. I'm here to win football games, unquote. Newton says if he offended anyone, that's cool. Just like that, in 30 minutes, I become once again the biggest Cam Newton fan in the history of the world. Yeah. I do, and I know a lot of people are gonna scoff at that statement. But as I mentioned earlier, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, yeah, there's a way you handle yourself with class in defeat. But as I said a little bit earlier, man, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, he said those comments once again in the locker room in Charlotte, cleaning out his locker for the year, and media was asking him. There's actually sound, and I actually heard some of the sound when I was coming back from the break. Or from taping the TV show today. And something else that he said in that interview and the audio that I heard on the radio, he says, he says this, something to the degree of, who says that you're right, and talking to the media and I guess his critics, who says that your right is, or your way of doing things and conducting yourselves the right way? And I to a large degree agree upon that. And I said it earlier, man, not just when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I would cry after a loss, and I'd hate walking down the two lines or whatever in the middle of the field. And this is just real. You may not, you may take a little bit of points away from me or whatever as far as personal character, whatever. But this is real. When I was a kid and we lost a football game, and we rarely lost football games as a kid. We probably lost maybe one. I mean, in a blue moon type year, we'd lose 2 games. But when we lost, man, I absolutely hated doing that little thing where you got on a line, you got 2 lines, you come across the field, and you shaking hands with your opponent. Not that I don't respect their win once again and the fact that they beat us, but you shaking a hand with your little classmates from the 3rd grade, man, and they snickering and, pointing at you and whatnot. How about I punch you in your nose, kid? So I've never liked that. And to a degree, man, it's fake. It's fake. Emotionally, you aren't happy about losing. Like, why should I put on a smile and why should I continue to give you all of these kudos or whatever when really in my heart, I want to kick you in your ass? Or I want to continue to play this game so I can try to win. I'm not in a good move. I'm not in a good space. I'm not. And so, I can't help but respect Cam and what he's got to say. Now, he's going to get killed for this. I can imagine how much this thing is going to blow up even more tomorrow. You talk about cats writing letters to Cam Newton this year, little housewives in Seattle, Washington writing letters to Cam Newton. I can only imagine what's going to go on tonight, after these comments. But I can't help but respect him, man. I hate losing. Second place is the first loser. And if you happy and you smiling, then I got to question you. Just like Cam said, I got to question you if you all cheese and you finding all of these rainbows, this pot of golds at the end of the rainbow or whatever, the fact that you just lost. No, man, I really need you to be upset about this so this don't happen again. And we ain't trying to make a habit out of losing around here. Not on the TDSS. We trying to win. So I know he's going to get killed in the media, man. But I, for one, I respect the honesty. I do. I respect the realness. And it is what it is. It is what it is. I love it. Unapologetic. I love that. Be you. I mean, you're the best football player. I mean, can you imagine the league's MVP saying something like that? That's unheard of. And somebody in the chat room have been making the comparison to Cam Newton to Muhammad Ali. And the more and more I see this thing play out, man, the more and more I agree with that. This dude is unapologetic, man. I love it. And that's real. I'm not even mad at him. It's real what he's saying, man. And, you know, I remember we used to play, and I always revert that back to stories in my life. If you're from South Carolina, you've heard of the Somerville Green Wave. Somerville is like, I'm going to guess, probably one of the top 3 high school football programs in the state of South Carolina. You're talking about Gaffney, maybe Spartanburg. Somerville is in that mix. They've got a ton of state championships. And that was our crosstown rivalry in football. Do you know, even back when I was in school, and I don't know if they do it now, they still have the same coach. They have the winningest head coach in America, John McKissick. He's like 95 years old. No lie. And I think maybe he retired last year, but he's the winningest high school coach in America. Okay? So this is a guy that's coached a ton of kids. Great athletes at Somerville High School. Do you know that Somerville never shook hands after the game? Even back in 1988? They never shook hands. And the story goes, I don't know how the story went. And the point in me telling you this story is because he is so respected, you know, in football circles, high school football circles. Obviously, with having more wins than anybody else in high school football history in this country, he would be respected. Even he thought that it would become an issue at some point or another, and maybe it did become an issue at one point for them, so that they just didn't shake hands. And after the game, they just ran straight to the locker room. I'm telling you, man, and they used to piss you off because they'd kick your ass. And this is a team back in 1980 rolling up in Greyhound buses, and they had 100-plus players. Everybody else playing with 30 and 40 players, they had 100-plus players. You know, big school body, student body. And they never shook hands. The minute the clock hit 0, they were going, pew! They were running off the field. And the way the story goes, at some point, the guy's been coaching once again for like 60 years. At some point, maybe in the 50s or 60s, a big melee happened after the game because emotions were high. And so they just said, scrap the whole shaking of hands. And once again, I don't know if they do it now or not, but that was back in my day. And that's the way they did it before I played. Okay, when I was a young boy running under the bleachers watching the Somerville Green Wave. And so I get it. The point is I get it, man. I get it, man. Ain't nobody trying to be happy. Ain't nobody trying to put no fake-ass smile on their face after they just got their ass kicked. It ain't natural. It's not natural. Just like condoms and sex ain't natural, it ain't natural. The good Lord would like me put on a rubber. I'm going back to when, you know, before I got married. It's just not natural. It's just not natural, man. So, hey, respect Cam Newton. I can only imagine how they're going to kill him today. Ooh-wee! What kind of message is that sending to our youth, Cam? You're a leader. You're a role model. How dare you say something like that? They're going to kill his ass today. Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show.